What is going on, everybody? And in today's video we are going to be talking about flash events, and which I feel are the most important and in what order. Now, we do have a total of 5 at the present moment, with one of them being every 2 months instead of actually being monthly, but I want to let you guys know which ones that I think are the most important ones to prepare for and the ones that will give you the most long-term benefit for your account. Now, hopefully this video is valid for all types of players, but especially this is going to be really important for newer and mid-game players, which might help give them an idea of what other characters to shard farm on the side for. So we will be doing this in a top 5 fashion, since there are only 5, of course, going from worst to best. And without further ado, let's get this show started. Alright guys, and coming in at number 5 at the bottom of the list, this might not come as any surprise, but this is the Block Party. This is the City Hero event. This is actually coming around pretty soon, I think, but it is every 2 months, and this is part of the reason why it hits number 5 on the list here, because I just don't think it's really worth building into too much anymore. It used to be, you know, actually not too bad. The amount of rewards that you get, I think, is pretty pitiful now, and I think this is in due for a rework. Also, I think this really should be monthly. You know, I don't see any reason why it can't be. Now, in terms of the characters that you might want to build for this, there's obviously, if you look at my list, you know, there is some pretty good candidates here. There is a lot of City Hero characters at this point. Not when they first came out. It was actually primarily Defenders. Those were the kind of characters that you wanted to build for this. Possibly OG Spider-Man, possibly Miss Marvel. That was back then. There's a total of 19 whopping characters that you can use for this. Really, at this point, if you're coming up the way, I would probably include Punisher, because he is a City Hero, but he also doubles for the Skilletary event, which we'll talk about later, which obviously isn't number 5 on the list. Other than that, you know, obviously Symbiote Spider-Man, but, you know, you do need to keep in mind, actually, I'm not even sure why I said that, that was dumb of me, because you do need to keep in mind the star rank, so my apologies, I don't know why I said Symbiote Spider-Man, because that's going to be really hard for people to do. Punisher, definitely on that list. If you really care about this, you could use Night Nurse because of the use in Shadowlands. A lot of these aren't really early farmable, but you could also just double back for the Defenders as well, particularly Iron Fist, Luke Cage, and Daredevil, who have some better use because of being in Heroes for Hire and Shadowland. And again, you could double up on Night Nurse and Punisher, and that would be 5 characters there. It's really not that challenging of an event, but I also wouldn't put too much stock into it, so I wouldn't actually go out of your way to character shard farm for these characters. And to really kind of drive that home, I wanted to bring this up on MSF.gg. These are the events at tier 7. These are the first time, these are the rewards that you get. So the first time rewards for doing this, you get 50 T4s and 135 T3 ability materials. Now, I want to say that because this is every 2 months, this is a drop in the ocean, or whatever that term is. I've been using that a lot lately. But realistically, you're getting 150 T4s every 2 months. This equates to 75 T4s a month, which is very, very little. That's less than half of an ability every month, and this really isn't worth, and that's tier 7, meaning you need 7-star to really take advantage of that. And before tier 7, you actually don't even get any of that. So tier 6, I don't think you get any T4s. No, you don't. It's just T3s, which really is like nothing at this point in the game. You know, 105, that's a total of 315. You can get that in 3 days of Ultimate 7. Or less, maybe. I don't know. Like, it's really not that worth it. So tier 7 is the really only worthwhile one, and even then it's just not enough. It probably needs to be doubled and brought back every single month. Maybe they might down the line, but right now it's a load of crap. It's not really that great, and I would not recommend building for this. So that's Block Party here at number 5. Alright, and coming in at number 4 is the Skilletary Flash event. I forget what this is called. Back to Boot Camp. This is also coming around pretty soon, because it does come on the, I think it might come on the same day as Block Party, but Block Party is every 2 months, whereas the Skilletary Flash event is every month. Now, what's interesting about this team is that some of the characters actually double in some cases, or triple in some cases for other Flash events, making them a little bit more useful. But other than this, I think that if you actually compare, I did a video before all about the training modules that you got from this event, there was actually really not all that much there. It was actually identical to the Payday event, although it was only in training modules, not in gold, which you could use more widely. So that was part of the problem there. But in terms of the characters that you can use through the event, it's very specific. Obviously, there's only 6 characters and you need 5 of them. So really at this point, I would probably use Punisher, Black Widow, Killmonger, and really, this comes down to you. Red Guardian is still, as of this video, 975 in the arena credits, so I don't know if that's... While being a decent character, I just don't know if he's someone you want to waste a lot of arena credits for. Alternatively, Yelena Belova is in... Heroes Chapter 5. You can farm her, so she's easily farmable pretty early on in the game if you want it 5/9, if you want to actually unlock her and use her for the Skeletal Flash event instead of Red Guardian, and then you can pick Mercenary Soldier up in the raid store. That's where he is there. Now, what's really nice is some of these characters, like I talked about the Block Party, Punisher is also a city hero, so he doubles up there. Black Widow does not, actually. I'm not sure why I mentioned that, but Killmonger. Now, if you watch my Killmonger video, Killmonger triples in other Flash events. So not only is he a skill military character for this event, he is a Wakandan for the Chaos Theory that we'll talk about later, and he's also a mercenary for the Payday. So Killmonger definitely needs to be on that list. He triples for 3 of the 5 Flash events, so that's really amazing. And Mercenary Soldier actually doubles. You could also use him in Payday as well if you wanted to double up, so the Payday event and the Skeletal event. And to really showcase that, we'll look at the sort of the tier 5, 6, 7 rewards here up on msf.gg. Alright, so this is actually, I believe this is tier 4 of Back to Boot Camp. I just pulled this up kind of randomly, but if you look it up, you know, you can see how you get a lot of first-time rewards. You get 400 L3 training modules, for example, and 3 training ores for the first-time guaranteed rewards for tier 4, and only 50 every time that you actually do it afterwards. That's just for tier 4, of course, but if we jump ahead to, let's say, tier 6 here, just for example, you get 475 L3 training modules of the purple training mods, and only 80 for the completion rewards after that. So you have to do actually about like 2 months of this at level 6 to even make it the same as the first time rewards. Level 7, you know, it doesn't really go up all that much. You know, it goes up from 80 training modules to 100 training modules, and instead of 1,000 training ore fragments, it goes up to 1,500. It's not crazy, and I'm not going to bring up the spreadsheet here. I can kind of list that in the comments down below, but realistically, the amount of training modules you get at tier 7 running it 3 times is 2.1 or so million gold worth of training modules. And what that means is that you're still going to have to spend that 2.1 million gold on top of the training modules in order to, you know, spend the training modules, because we're in this stupid game where not only do you have to use training modules to level a character, but you also have to use gold, which makes it why I put this at a lower value than the actual gold Flash event, which is we'll talk about soon. But yeah, I don't really think that the Skeletal training module event is really all that great, which is why it comes in at number 4. You know, if you build some of the characters along the way, that's great, but I don't think you really need to go out of your way to build them. So that's that at number 4. Alright, and so coming in at number 3 for the Flash events is the Hand Relic Hunt event. This is probably not too much of a surprise. Actually, you know what? I was actually sort of weighing them out, whether or not I felt this was better or worse than Payday, and the only reason is because this one actually got a rework and had a reward improvement over the last little while. But at the end of the day, they're hand characters, and they haven't had a rework, which makes, other than Elektra has a slight rework for Shadowland, but this still is a bit more of a challenging one to clear, because nobody really in their right mind wants to gear up hand characters, and the only other ones that are remotely useful are Hand Assassin and Nobu, who are usable in the unlock for Phoenix. But aside from that, really it's a trashy team, not useful for anything, and so that kind of puts me in the position that I don't think a lot of other people are wanting to build them either. But in terms of the rewards, it's actually not all that bad. So let's pull up the msf.gg. Now this is right up to tier 7, and I know that's kind of like is skipping through a lot of the tier levels, but let's take a look at the rewards anyway. So the first time rewards actually aren't anything too fancy here. What's interesting is that, and I'm pretty sure this is the updated rewards, but it actually is the same as the guaranteed rewards, which I think maybe that first time rewards, maybe it's too late to buff that now because of all the people that would have done it. But the guaranteed rewards now has been improved. I thought it was a little bit better than this, but maybe I need to look at my screenshots or take a screenshot next time around on this. Maybe this is it. But here we are with the superior basic catalyst parts. You do get, so if you do it 3 times at tier 7, you are going to get 300 of these and 20 each of the orange catalysts. Now you get all of these, which is great. So you are getting, I guess, 60 of all of the orange catalyst pieces, and then all of that, 180 ABCs, 300 SBCs, and all of that, and 72 and all the purples if you do it 3 times. Now, the reason why this is kind of important is while SBCs may not be, they are important, but that's not really the crunch. What is the crunch is the orange catalyst parts. I have to say, you know, I've been talking about gear tier 16, 16 on the horizon and level 85, and I do think that this is going to be important. I think this needs to get a revisit again. I think this just isn't enough for the amount of work that you have to put in order to actually get hand characters to tier 7. Is a real pain in the ass if they don't get a rework. You know, that this doing this event is kind of challenging, and you're bringing up characters that you really don't want to invest in. So even though I do have this at number 3 above the Skilletary training event, you know, in terms of usefulness, the Skilletary characters are more useful than the hand, but I do feel long term that actually these catalysts are probably a little bit more useful than the training modules that you get out of that one, because I don't think it's as bad for newer players necessarily. So that's how things are. I would keep an eye on your if you're in that sort of stage where you need to consider your orange catalysts, because they are finite and they're going to cost more and more as you go up the gear tiers. I think you should really keep an eye on this, and that's why I think this is kind of important. So yeah, really quick one there. Not too much else to say about that, but catalysts are very important. So that is number 3, Relic Hunt. Now, coming in at number 2, I mean, there's only 2 left, right? So this is one or the other. This is the Mercenaries Payday event. This is the gold flash event that comes around monthly. Just, I don't know why I said that they all come around monthly other than Block Party. What's good about this one is now that there is 9 characters that you can use for this, in terms of the ones that I would recommend for this, I think the easiest ones to build for this now is actually Taskmaster, because they moved him back to Cosmic Chapter 3, I'm pretty sure, all the way from Doom 3.9, which is great. So Taskmaster is definitely the building blocks of a Merc team anyway, so you're going to want to add him to that list. Definitely Killmonger as well, because like I said, he triples for 3 other Flash events. I would actually consider using Mercenary Soldier, because that he is usable on the other the Skilletary events as well. And then after that, I would actually consider Merc Lieutenant and Merc Riot Guard. So you notice how I skipped Deadpool, even though he's part of X-Force. You can actually include him as well if you want, if you think you'll get him up a bit faster than, say, Merc Lieutenant, who I believe is only on a node. You don't actually need to have Merc Lieutenant for clearing this Flash event. It might be a little bit easier for Deadpool because he's only 350 arena credits, and you still need to get him up to a certain star level if you want to unlock Doc Ock anyways. So yeah, that's fine too. So I guess 5 of those 6 characters. I wouldn't bother too much on characters like Bullseye, Merc Sniper, or Korath. I really, at this point in the game, it's not worth it. I would choose 5 of those 6 that I mentioned, so Deadpool, Killmonger, Taskmaster, Soldier, Lieutenant Ryguard. 5 of these 6, that'll be fine. And let's look at the MSF.GG. What do you get? Well, the first time rewards, you do get a whopping 7 gold orbs. That was right. I was just thinking about that while I said it. And 2.4 million gold every single month. Now, this isn't bad. Like I said, I would rather have the gold than the training modules when we were talking about the Skilletary Flash event, only because you can do more with the gold. Not only can you level characters, because you need to do that too with gold, but you can buy stuff, you can, you know, rank up characters, do whatever you want with it. You know, so I'd rather have the flat gold than an equivalency of that in training modules, which is why training modules, the Skilletary Flash event, was so far back on the list, because I didn't think it was as necessary. Now, pretty easy to say there, you know, gold is gold, right? We need more of that. I wish all of these Flash events got bumped up a little bit, because it really feels a little bit underwhelming at 7 stars, but it is what it is, and it still hits the number 2 on the list, in my opinion, ahead of the others. So that brings us to our last one. I'm sure you guys can figure out what that is, but we're going to talk about it anyways. And coming in at number 1, this is probably of no surprise, this is the Wakandan Chaos Theory Flash event. Now, this is the 2nd newest Flash event. I forget when the exact release date of this was now. Maybe someone can remind me in the comments. It's not that important anyways, but this did come just before the Skilletary Flash event. I say just before that, but it has been a while now. And so in terms of the characters that you want to build for it, well, hey, all of the Wakandans, but realistically, you don't need to build them up as high as I did. If we're in Baku and Okoye and Black Panther especially, realistically, all you need to build is Shuri and Killmonger. They can do a lot of the carrying for this Flash event. And actually, I really don't recommend building any of the other three, because they really just don't do all that well at all. There's really no reason to build them. And personally, you know, if you don't touch them at all, you're not going to 3-star. But does that really matter when the Flash event is only once a month anyways? If you have to manually run 3 matches once a month, is that really a huge deal? You know, just because they die off. I mean, if you want to waste the resources to get them up to gear 10 or 11 or whatever you need, 9, 10, you know, to get that 3-star, then that's on you. But realistically, you can just get away with getting Killmonger and Shuri leveled up, and they'll carry you through the entirety of the fight. Now, why is this important? And that's because Chaos Theory does give you promotion credits. And so we're going to jump, of course, back to MSF.GG, and this is tier 5 of the event. Now, this is where you first started to need Shuri. Before tier 5, that you actually don't need Shuri, and you can just use the 4 other characters. Of course, you can use Shuri if you have her, and you don't have to use one of the other characters if you do get Shuri unlocked before that as well. But the first time rewards are really nice, but it's actually not until you get higher up, probably to about tier 6, tier 7, where things really get a bit better. So you see here that the guaranteed is 9 silver promo credits. So, you know, if you're at tier 5, that would be 27 silvers or half of a 4-star extra per month, and then 6 gold promos. But as you go up higher, especially tier 6, tier 7, that's really where it starts to get better. So the guaranteed rewards here, of course, 12 silvers and 4 gold, so that's 36 silvers and 12 gold. That's where it gets a little bit better, but realistically it's tier 7 where it's obviously going to be the best. And so that's where you get 60 silver promo credits and 21 gold at the same time. So that's really good, and realistically, this is your only static way to build up gold promotion credits. And there are gold promos that you get through events, milestones, things like that throughout the game, but realistically, it's kind of random, and we don't get them all the time. So this is the only reliable way to get gold promotion credits, which is super, super important for your 6 and 7 red star characters, for your Infinity Watch Gamora, or whoever the arena meta is at the time. And of course, that's 60 silver promo credits a month, and so that guarantees you a 4-star upgrade at the bare minimum every single month. So, you know, this is really on top of course, all of the other promotion credits that we get for silvers in the game already, but this is super, super important. I can't stress this enough. Promotion credits allows you to upgrade the characters that you want to when you get screwed by the RNG, by the red star orbs, which happens more often than you'd like, and this is the only way that you can put it in your hands, is by having those silver and gold promotion credits so that you can do it yourself. So Chaos Theory, #1 Flash event, and it's super, super important. So do work on that as soon as you possibly can. My baby account, for example, even though I'm only in just over 2 months now, I think it's about 2 months, I have this unlocked at the 3-star level, ready and waiting to go. I know it's not that high yet, but that is the Flash event that I'll be working on ASAP to get those characters up. So, you know, if you need to farm any of these Wakandans, do it now. M'Baku, unfortunately, still is 500 arena credits. Black Panther's on a node. Okoye is on a node. Killmonger's in the raid store, and Shuri you can unlock using Spider-Verse, but realistically you should probably just use Sinister Six. That way you double up for Invisible Woman. So that's the end of this Flash event tier list video, guys. I hope that it helps and kind of gives you an idea of where you should be considering your resources for shard farming, which characters you should prioritize, and you know, which event you should prioritize. Chaos Theory, #1. Please do this. Please make sure that you get as high as you can, as quick as you can, as early as you can, because this is going to help you long term in the game. And so that's the end of the video, guys. If this helped you, please hit that like button and consider subscribing if you haven't to my channel already. And of course, till next time, stay safe, and I'll see y'all later. Boylon signing out.